the observatory above the clouds. Tonight, we are going somewhere unreasonably high, not for knowledge, not for wisdom, not even for astrology, which is probably for the best. We are going to an observatory above the clouds, where people look at stars until they forget what they were worried about. A surprisingly efficient system, so close your eyes. At first, there is nothing to see. Good. That saves us time. The room around you can wait. The ceiling can wait. The unfinished thoughts can wait. The small, ridiculous problems of the day can wait outside your eyelids, where they belong. Behind your closed eyes, there is only darkness. Soft darkness. Quiet darkness. The kind of darkness that does not ask questions and therefore improves the situation immediately. Somewhere inside that darkness, a little blue appears. Not bright, not sudden, just a small blue glow, like moonlight remembering itself. The blue spreads slowly, very slowly, until it becomes mist, then cloud, then moonlight resting softly on cloud. You begin to see the clouds below you now, not clearly, just enough. Soft ridges, pale silver edges, long quiet valleys of white, moving beneath the moon. There is no ground now, not in any useful way. Only clouds below, stars above, and you, somewhere between them, exactly where nobody can ask you to do anything. A soft wind moves around you, not cold, not sharp, only present. It passes beside your face, across your shoulders, and through the thoughts that were becoming too crowded. Far away, a wooden flute begins. Very faint, very slow. A few gentle notes with long spaces between them. Not a song you need to remember. Just a thin thread of sound leading somewhere higher. You drift toward it. Not flying. Flying sounds like effort. You are only drifting thought by thought, breath by breath, higher into the quiet blue. Below you, the ordinary world becomes smaller. The rooms, the messages, the unfinished tasks, the small, stupid worries, all of them sink gently beneath the clouds, where they can bother someone else, preferably no one. Ahead, a thin golden line appears, then another, then a small warm window floating impossibly high, then a dark tower, a round roof. Then the quiet shape of an observatory resting above the clouds. It is old, not ruined, just old in the way peaceful things become old. Wood darkened by years of moonlight, brass rails polished by patient hands, tall windows glowing softly, a lantern beside every door. The observatory does not announce itself. It does not need to. It simply waits high above the world, with its windows open to the stars, as if it has been expecting someone, but not urgently. A narrow bridge of cloud and stone reaches toward it. Lanterns hang along the sides. Their golden flames move gently in the wind, not flickering wildly, just breathing. A small, warm breath inside the cold blue night. You drift along the bridge slowly. No footsteps, no hurry. Only the soft sound of wind, the faint Celtic flute far away, and one distant bell so gentle it might have been imagined. The door is already open. Of course it is. Places like this do not make people knock. Inside, there is warm amber light, old wooden floors, a round room, and a great brass telescope pointing toward the sleeping sky. The telescope is enormous, but not impressive in an annoying way. It simply rests there, like a creature made of wood and brass, who has spent centuries looking upward, and has become very calm about it. Around the room, star maps hang from curved walls. Some are accurate, probably. Some show constellations no one has named. Some show places that may not exist. The observatory does not seem embarrassed by this. A small desk stands near the window. On it, a notebook lies open. The page is blank. This feels correct. Not every night requires observations. Some nights are only for looking. Some nights are only for forgetting to write things down. You move closer to the window. Beyond the glass, clouds drift below, slow and silver. Above them, the stars remain quietly overqualified. There are far too many of them, doing very little, beautifully. The wind presses softly against the window, not cold, not sharp, only present. A reminder that the observatory is high, very high, high enough that the world below has become mostly optional. You sit in a chair beside the telescope. It is a good chair, a serious chair, the kind of chair built by someone who understood that astronomy is mostly waiting, and waiting is easier with proper back support. The flute continues somewhere far below or far above. It is hard to tell here. A few wooden notes, a pause, another note, then wind, then the soft turning of something old inside the telescope. You do not need to look through it yet. There is no rush. The stars are not going anywhere. They have been showing off for ages. They can manage another few quiet breaths. So you breathe. Slowly, the clouds move. The lanterns glow. The telescope waits. The stars wait. The night waits. Everything waits without making it weird. When you finally lean toward the eyepiece, you do not see a planet or a comet or a useful scientific discovery. You see a field of soft blue darkness filled with tiny golden lights. They drift like lanterns on invisible water. Some lights are stars. Some may be windows. Some may be thoughts that finally became tired enough to float away. No one in the observatory seems interested in making strict categories. One light grows warmer, not brighter, just closer. Inside it, you see another room, another quiet place, a table, a lamp, and a book left open. Rain moves slowly down a window somewhere impossibly far away. Then the image softens. The room becomes light. The light becomes mist. The mist becomes cloud. The cloud becomes blue darkness again. The telescope has shown you nothing important. Which is polite of it. You sit back. The chair accepts your weight. The lantern beside you glows. The brass telescope settles with one tiny sound, like an old instrument finished with a very quiet song. There is a blanket folded over the arm of the chair, because of course there is. This observatory may be mysterious, but it is not incompetent. You pull the blanket around your shoulders. It is warm and heavier than moonlight. Outside, the clouds continue drifting. Inside, the lanterns continue glowing. Above, the stars continue doing whatever stars do. Probably nothing urgent. Possibly nothing at all. The observatory grows quieter. The flute fades a little. The wind becomes softer. The distant bell sounds once. Then nothing. Then perhaps another bell, or perhaps only the memory of one. You do not need to follow the story anymore. That was never the point. The observatory can remain here. The telescope can keep watching. The stars can continue being excessive. You can simply rest. The clouds drift. The lanterns glow. The wind moves softly around the tower. The stars blur. The room softens. The chair holds you. The blanket grows warmer. Nothing needs your attention now. Far below, the world continues. Probably. But here, above the clouds, inside the old observatory, there is only blue darkness, warm lantern light, quiet wood, and the slow breathing of the night. The telescope waits. The windows glow. The clouds move. Again, the telescope waits. The windows glow. The clouds move. Again, less to notice, less to remember, less to hold. The stars become softer. The lanterns become smaller. The room becomes darker. Not suddenly, not completely, just enough to let the mind stop drawing edges around everything it sees. Only the wind remains, only the flute very far away, only the faint warmth of the blanket, only the old observatory drifting above the clouds with nothing important to report. And if the stars are still shining, you do not need to count them. If the clouds are still moving, you do not need to follow them. If the story is still speaking, you do not need to finish it. The observatory continues without you. The clouds continue without you. The night continues without asking anything. And slowly, very slowly, everything becomes less clear, which is exactly how it should be. The lanterns glow. The clouds drift. The wind softens. The stars fade. The chair holds you. The blanket warms you. The observatory rests. And you, at last, do not need to do anything. Nothing to solve. Nothing to remember. Nothing to become. Only cloud. Only wind. only quiet light, only the old observatory above the world, above the noise, above the last thought before sleep. The lanterns glow, the clouds drift, the wind softens. Again, the lanterns glow, the clouds drift, the wind softens. Again, somewhere far above the sleeping world, the observatory keeps watch, so you do not have to. Everything softens, everything quiets, everything rests, and slowly, without needing to know when, you drift farther and farther into sleep. The clouds drift, The lanterns glow. The wind softens. The observatory keeps watch, so you do not have to. Nothing to solve, nothing to remember, only rest. The clouds drift, the lanterns glow, the wind softens, the observatory keeps watch, so you do not have to. Nothing to solve, nothing to remember, only rest. The clouds drift, the lanterns glow, the wind softens, the observatory Observatory keeps watch, so you do not have to. Nothing to solve, nothing to remember, only rest. glow. The wind softens. The observatory keeps watch, so you do not have to. Nothing to solve, nothing to remember, only rest. The clouds drift, the lanterns glow, the wind softens, the observatory keeps watch, so you do not have to. Nothing to solve, nothing to remember, only rest.